I'm Jesse Litsch, and you're watching Class Act Sports.
I'm Jared Ginsberg here with Class Act Sports, and we're joined by Major League Baseball pitcher of the Toronto Blue Jays, Jesse Litsch. Thank you for joining us, Jesse.
No problem.
Jesse was drafted in the 24th round of 2004, and he debuted in 2007, setting a record, going 8.2 innings for the Toronto Blue Jays and recording his first victory. Jesse, what was that like for you, stepping right in?
It was definitely a memorable experience. You know, it's your first start, it's your debut. It just so happened to be my dad's birthday. So, you know, it was definitely one of those, you know, dream openings. You know, it was what you dreamed for, it was what you wanted in your, you know, as your debut. You know, I would have loved to finish the game, but, you know, they wouldn't let me do that. So it was go out there and, you know, with the same mindset. The first batter of the game scored. So, I mean, that was the one run right there, and, you know, the second batter was one of the only 3 hits. So it was a matter of, you know, just go out there and, you know, grind it through.
Now, you know, being drafted in the 24th round, I know it's a little bit different than some of the other drafts. What was that like for you, waiting for your name to be called?
I actually didn't even wait. At that point, I had heard first 10 rounds, and I didn't get drafted, and I had planned on going back to college. And they had a thing called draft and follow in junior college. So if you go to junior college, you can still be, you can go a whole year and sign the next year.
You know, staying in the AL East, you pitch against, you got the Red Sox, you pitch against the Rays, you pitch against the Yankees. I mean, the cream of the crop when it comes to batters. What's it like for you going against some of the best hitters in baseball, you know, many times a year?
You know, you'd much rather pitch against the best. You know, you're out there, you want to be the best, so why not go out there and pitch against the best, you know? And they always say the AL East is the best. But, you know, it's one of those things where, like I said, it's the same game. You know, they're up there for a reason. They're getting paid to beat you, and we're getting paid to beat them. You know, it's just a matter of going out there and doing your job and hope for the best.
You know, I'm not sure if too many people know this, but Jesse was formerly a bat boy when the Tampa Bay were the Devil Rays. You know, talk about what that experience was like for you, as well as, you know, if you always knew you'd make it to the majors.
You know, me and Aubrey Huff always have a little go back and forth. He tries to send over his cleats every now and again to get them cleaned by me. You know, it's just a matter of going. You know, it was definitely a life experience. You know, that kind of helped me get situated with. You know, I always dreamed as a kid to be a Major League Baseball player, but you know, in actuality, you never know if it's going to happen. You know, there's a little percentage that actually makes it to the major leagues, and you know that kind of helped me out. You know, I had, you know, big league tutors, you know, the whole time. You know, anytime I needed something, a lesson or something, you know, I could just go to big leaguers. You know, that's always helpful. You know, it's always helpful.
Now, you mentioned Aubrey Huff. The Giants just won the World Series. He was a great pickup for them. Did you ever, you know, were you texting with him back and forth throughout the postseason, or?
No, I actually I try not. You know, I don't like bothering people during the season. You know, I send him a text after the season. You know, congrats and everything. He just signed a 2-year deal with them again, which is great for him. You know, it's great for his family. But I actually pitched against San Francisco this year and went 7 shutout against him, and he went 0 for 3 against me. So he wasn't that happy after that, and he sent it. That's one of those times when he sent him shoes over to get shined. But you know, he's a great guy, and you know, everyone that I've dealt with and I've seen coming back, you know, they've always been very, you know, congratulative, and it's just a matter of, you know, they know I'm out there doing a job, and I worked hard to get there.
You know, it's San Francisco, not a big payroll team, but they made some real great pickups. They had pitching always. They had good defense. They got Cody Ross and Pat Burrell, big additions throughout the season. What was the magic for San Francisco this year, and how can you and the Toronto Blue Jays, you know, work toward almost emulating that success?
I mean, their main thing, they made some really good pickups, like you said. They have great pitching, and they picked up some veteran guys that kind of made that clubhouse one in a sense of not just a bunch of little groups, and you know, the making it just one and playing together as a family. You know, that's a key component. You know, we're pretty good in our clubhouse too. You know, but we're in the AL East. It's not saying that it's much harder, but it's a contending the whole year, and San Fran they played great. They had chance of not even making the playoffs, and then they end up winning it. It's a matter of, they made the right pickups, and they started playing as a family, and it's a big thing when it comes to team.
And talking a little bit more about Jesse Litsch as a pitcher, who are some of the toughest batters that you faced?
I mean, there's every batter's hard to face, but I mean, my hardest, I have a guy, Dustin Pedroia with the Red Sox. He's very, very hard to get out. He's a little stocky, short guy, and he puts the bat on the ball all the time. It's a matter of trying to just get him out early, because if not, he's going to keep fouling him, raise your pitch count, and it's a tough out. He's a tough out. He's stocky, and he plays the game hard. And that's what I like about him. That's one thing he does is play the game hard, and it's a matter of just get him out early. And I mean, another guy that has like probably an 800 average off me is Melky Cabrera. Yeah, it's weird, but he owns me for some reason. But he's in the National League now, so we're good.
Right. Now, who is one of the most reputable hitters in the league that you've actually had some real success against?
Probably had to go with my boy Ryan Howard. He's always badgering me after the game. The other day, like when we went down to Philly this year, I think everyone on his team got a hit off me but him. I think in a sense when he gets up there, I think it's an extra motivation to get him out, because if not, we're going out to dinner after and I'm going to hear all about it. So, for a change, I had to let him hear about it this year, and he's always a tough out just because he is who he is and he can go all over the field. But he don't like cutters in, and he'll tell you he don't like cutters in, and I throw a lot of cutters into him. So my second start of my 07 season was actually in Philly, and I gave up one of those home runs that was like a wall scraper, and it wouldn't even have came close to the fence in Toronto. But you got to adapt to your ballparks. It's a difference in fields to to stadiums. Wherever you're going, you gotta be able to pitch to it. Fenway's got the big wall in left field. Try to stay away from left field.
When you give up a couple runs early, how do you rebound from that as opposed to getting off to a hot start?
I mean, you just got to go out there with the same, that's over. I always look at it as that happened in the past, go out here and finish the game, go out here and trust in your hitters and you not giving up any more runs.
You mentioned that your debut came on your dad's birthday. What were some of the things, or what's the biggest thing that you've learned from your family that you've been able to apply to the game of baseball?
I mean, work hard. It's a matter of it don't come easy. You got to work hard, and growing up, we always had to work hard for things we needed, and my dad always had to work his butt off to, just to make ends meet. It's a matter of going out there and knowing where you come from, and respecting yourself, and going out there and doing your job.
Now, Jesse faced some adversity throughout his career. He's gotten off to a real great start, and then he had Tommy John surgery, and recently had surgery on his hip. But he signed a tender with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's looking to get things going, moving into the 2011 season. Talk about some of the adversity that you face in your career, and what goes through your mind when you're trying to rehab through injuries like that.
Well, I mean, Tommy John's a big one. That's your arm, that's your moneymaker. That's where everything everything comes from. And when you tear up your arm, that's it could be career-threatening, career-ending. And Tommy John's nowadays is a pretty normal routine and everything, but you don't know how you're going to come back. We've had guys not even come back from it. It's a matter of it's vigorous. You got to go through the steps. It's a year process. I actually came back a little early from it, but I mean, it's supposed to be 18 months until you're back to normal. And I think we might have just hit the 18-month mark to where like now, and I was already pitching last year. So it's a big surgery. The hip surgery was minor. It was a labrum tear, and that's 3 to 4 months. I'm pretty much back ready from that. But that's not up to me. That's up to doctors, obviously. But it's a matter of just going. You gotta stay mentally focused. If you don't stay mentally focused, then you could wander. And I wandered once, but I came back to reality and said, if I can't do this, then I'm not going to make it back up there. It's not going to come easy. You got to put forth the effort. So.
Just talking about when you filled in for Doc Holliday, Roy Halladay, one of the best pitchers in the game, the NL Cy Young winner. No surprise there. What's the biggest thing you learned from a pitcher like that?
Before he signed with Philly, we actually worked out together. So, I mean, I learned, you watch him. He's a guy that he's silent, but he does everything the right way. He's a guy you watch on and off the field. You see how he acts, and you want to try and duplicate that in a sense of your own way. You can't really be him, but you can be your own person at the same, doing the same stuff. He's just a guy. He was quiet. If you needed something, you could go up to him and ask him. But if you didn't go up and ask him, you probably weren't going to get an answer. Because he was shy. But he's a quiet guy. But his work ethic is like no other. It's amazing the stuff he does. And now that he in the postseason, he probably don't even know what to do now that he's made the postseason. He probably don't even know if he started working out yet. Usually it's the first day and first Saturday or first Monday in November, and now I don't know what he's going to be doing.
You throw a lot of cutters, sinkers, a fastball. I mean, you've got a repertoire of many pitches, and you excel in almost all of them. Talk about what it's going to be like for you to get your velocity back, coming back from Tommy John.
Well, hopefully it's back. At this point, they say this is where you're supposed to blossom again. Everything's supposed to be back to normal. So I'm hoping back. I was pitching back this year. I was almost back to my velocity, but I wasn't as sharp as I was in the past with all my pitches. And one day it would be 2 pitches, the other day it would be all pitches, and then it's just a matter. But now hopefully everything will come back together, and now it's just it's going out there, and you're there for a reason. You just got to go out there and work at it, and that's one of the things that I'm doing now is trying to work on getting back to that form, and it's been an ongoing process, but it'll come because I'm out there working hard, so I know it'll come.
Well, Jesse, we appreciate you stopping by, and we're wrapping things up here. What's one thing that fans might not know about Jesse?
One thing they might not know about me. Wow. I really would love to hit more. That's one of the things that you don't know about me. I love to hit, and it's just a matter of in an American League whenever the interleague play comes in play. That's a great time for me because I get to take batting practice.
All right, Jesse, thanks a lot for stopping by. Appreciate it.
All right.
I'm Jared Ginsberg, and you're watching Class Act Sports.